Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
What up? What up? What it do? 8:40 in the AM. This is In Living Color. How's your guys' weekend? How was your last week? How was the review of some of the info we put into the channel for you guys to look at this weekend to give you perspective on what the fuck you guys did last week? If you didn't fully value what's going on in those live calls, I think maybe now you have some more perspective on it. Let's see. Discord noises. Where's that coming from? Okay, that is... Okay, I need that. One sec. Discord is doing weird things. You go on the other side of this, and then there's another Discord open that's fucking me, which is you. Okay, I got it. Okay, got it. All right. Good. Feeling hypnotized. So you should be feeling on this show. So I got a mention from an OG out there, and got a flood of trolls. Same old things as the old days. Always sentiment things when you see that, right, where the market's at. The only time OGs mention my name is when there's like crisis out in the marketplace. When no one's got the answer anymore, and everyone's basically passing around old ideas. We saw one hell of a major demonstration of this and what rule of the atom really means and what our ecosystem is really about. If you guys look at what I showed you this weekend, I'm gonna show you here in a second. Jay Mills, really good week. Great perspective in the Discord the past couple of days, showing how tilted the trade was last week in the eco, and the Fed being the only one who's on the right side of the trade. Right, I don't think people fully value what we do, and obviously when you come to a market show that looks like this, I could see how there might be some problems trying to say like this person knows what they're talking about. But this is why we talk about message over messenger things, right? Because a fucking piece of shit judges you what you look like versus the substance of the character, right? But that's most people, they're pieces of shit. That's the easy way to have them catch themselves, right? Bias is a killer, right? And if you think the information coming out of here is not valid because I'm not dressed like the pleb idea of what you think fucking makes sense, you could be fucking stupid, It could end right there. But stupid people have a hard time telling the fact that they're stupid, and that's why they're considered stupid, right? Dumb money doesn't know it's dumb. It's a fucking thing. So how tilted was last week? Y'all motherfuckers we have to go through this, because as much as no one responds to it in Discord, this is what it's all about at my end of solving that fucking puzzle, right? Oh shit. Squeeze is still squeezing. So very nice. Hopefully somebody played that overnight or did get some piece of this action. But market's pumping out of the depths of hell, out of the fucking tilt we're going to talk about right now. So looking over here, made a little comic for you guys. Well, one, let's take a look at this, right? So this is an insane fucking graph when you look at what's going on here. Another record in relative put buying. So this is the put call ratio. This kind of gives you a sentiment read in its own way on how many people are betting on downside versus like upside, just on its face, without worrying about hedging or any of that stuff. Like just what are the sheer number of like puts being bought versus calls. In times of extreme crisis, much like when the VIX goes up, the VIX captures the insurance premium you're willing to pay for those options, right? And in times of crisis, the FOMO buying of puts creates a surge in implied volatility, which helps to capture, in essence, the fear people have about what's happening and what they're willing to pay for downside protection. This is the ratio of those puts versus calls. And you can see here back to like 9/11, this is what this spike is. Up here in the depths of fucking 2002 going to Afghanistan, the banking crisis. This here in 2016, there was a bit of a meltdown. I think this is 16 into 17. This is going into a bit of an Asian market meltdown. Oil went down off a cliff into the front end of 16. I think that is that crisis. And then, of course, you have the crisis right here of COVID. And then you have this. This blows away everything since I've been in the entire market. This is the highest reading on this metric since it's ever been created, right? Last week, retail traders bought $19 billion worth of puts to open, and only $6.5 billion in calls, making this a 3 times ratio. Generally, you consider the put call ratio like fucking like crazy levels once it hits anywhere like 1.5. This was 2 times that level. So a record in the put call ratio was just part of that story, right? So how tilt was that really? We get down here, we look at it, right? This is the worst performance of the 60 portfolio in the fucking last 100 years, which is your basic diversification for stocks versus bonds. You know, look what your mom and pop funds generally allocate. So that being said, to put it again where we were, this was LTC Winter. This is the essence of like rule of the atom. Point of value surrounded by a fucking empty space, the worthless shit of CT. The main point of this comic was to illustrate the victims, right? A point of value in a sea of shit is still shit. It's one thing when these guys are morons and they lead a bunch of people that are dumber than them. But when the victims are other versions of the moron who also lead other fucking communities of idiots who don't know they're frauds, then you have full tilt, right? Not only is this point of relative shit inside of a system of fucking greater idiots telling that entire mass where to go, the people in agreement with that idiot are other versions of that idiot with their own masses following them. It's fucking exponential. So most people didn't really pay attention, but the victims is the whole part of this thing. To be at the top of LTC Winter and have nobody on the planet to be on the right side, you need this. And this is timestamp proof of all the frauds that are in CT. If you didn't appear where we appeared, you're bullshit. You're the empty space. This is not an insult. This is just timestamp data, and you're not where we're standing, right? We can all understand that. There's nothing personal about data. Well, guess what? You guys who keep stealing our ideas and pretending that you didn't get them from us, looks like you did it again, motherfuckers. And Kobe helped boost this post up, which got every idiot into this fucking thing. 10-10. Look at the date of when we played the greatest short squeeze, in like the 5th biggest short squeeze in history, the biggest put call tilt in history, and look again. LTC Winter, fractal all over. See, Kathy Woods is a great idea. And the anger phase and all that, real funny and stuff. A half a year ago. Dumb money doesn't know it's dumb, but this is why you keep track of data, right? Because perspective matters and keeping context of history matters when these people will lie about it again in the next cycle so they can destroy another set of people who don't know they're fucking garbage. But we know you're garbage, motherfuckers. Bitch pudding. Stop trying to be me, motherfucker. You can't use the emotion chart, never you ever could. Not for as long as I've been here and from I introduced it to you. You have no fucking idea. But you've been fucking liquidating families left and right for as long as I've been in CT, you know? It's pretty amazing to watch. So guys, that's what you caught. Not just June Cramer, the entire fucking planet was on the wrong side of you again. As, you know, grandmothers to fucking like regular, you know, working class folks and even high school kids participated in one of the most epic waves that we've seen, you know, all year. So, congrats. Gotta say, that feels pretty good, right? Entire TV station on the right side of history yet again. So if you guys don't know, that's probably the I think that's the 5th version of that we as a community have been a part of, which is pretty epic, you know, because if I was Michael Burry and I did that once, I'd probably have like a fucking trilogy by now for my ass, you know. It's pretty crazy to see the differences because we've done this all publicly, and this is timestamp recorded video, fucking whatever the fuck, microblog evidence. You know, it's been there for a few times. So just to give you an idea on that. Put this in the chat yesterday because most folks don't really recognize this until you put all the pieces together in front of them, you know, to figure it out. But this isn't the first time, right? In 2018, oh, not just 2018, let me go back here. In oil in 2016, we're also on the right side of what became at the time, the largest recorded short squeeze ever in the CME. This was the oil knife catch we did. We figured that oil was mispriced in terms of pretty much every asset class on the fucking planet. And we jumped in front of this train back in February 2016. We also out-timed Warren Buffett by about 50% of the drop. And cherry-picked the bottom of that, which when the squeeze began, registered as the biggest short squeeze ever recorded on the CME, the biggest tilt in oil. After the mainstream media shoved everyone into it at $200 a barrel, and then fucking shoved you out of it. If you saw, there was news posts down at the bottom that pretty much, you know, like Kathy Woods, that was the end of oil. So pretty epic. That guy right there. 2018, this knife catch that our ecosystem is obviously trading what I'm talking about inside of our channels. This volatility awakens spurs a record long position in the VIX. This translates to a record short position in the stock market. So this was the most cornered the market was coming off of the dump when it came to 2018. You end up with a record short position through the VIX. Market spiked, destroyed those people, came down again. We knife caught it again. And for 10 straight weeks, hedge funds have been buying the VIX futures, keep betting on volatility. They now have a record long position. We got the 2 consecutive biggest record long positions of the VIX, i.e. short positions in the S&P, in the same fucking year. 2 consecutive VIX record longs in a row. Means that we bagged fucking, not you guys, we bagged institutions twice. The 0.01% move twice in a row in the same year. And then we nailed the PPT intervention also, which we built the trading lounge, the original Winter Soldiers trading lounge, on top of this move. So pretty epic shit. If you guys have been around for a while, it's been pretty cool. So that's number 5 record long position, short positions in the market that we've been in front of in various asset classes. Pretty dope. All pretty cool for some hyper color real fucking lunatic on fucking YouTube. But congrats on all you guys who managed to make the plays in all these waves across all these years. You're part of some fucking insane market history if you didn't realize it. Again and again and again, bitches. Often imitated, never duplicated. We say that. It's not a fucking brag if it's true, right? It can be a brag and it can be true. Anyways. Facts over ego. As many people like to fucking find a way to detract from your wins, you can suck a dick. We are that motherfucker, and everyone else on CT is not. All right. So that's what you guys are here for, right? To be on the right side of history. Make money, fuck bitches, mission complete. Who gives a fuck how it looks, right? So, all right. That's enough of that. It's 8:52. I see we started about 100. Only 128 watching right now. Pretty fucking low. So as the market keeps on fucking violently ripping and doing things like that, the show audience will tighten up to the few you paying the most attention. The reality is most people aren't paying attention. If you're loosely watching what's happening while they de-risk the market, just think about the internet bubble. Think about the housing bubble. If you were halfway paying attention when those things happened, you're broke. Your life is generationally shifted. Fucking, you are out of fucking time. That's what happens in major cycles like this. And the people only come to pay attention at the very tail end of it when there's too little time or chance to save themselves. You don't want to make that mistake. I've watched this countless times. You can't wake up the bulk of the room to pay attention. They're going to get eviscerated, get mad. They see some of you winning, double down in their anger, and then completely fuck up. Happens every time. At the bottom of the cycle, the very fewest people who had a chance to fucking play will be alive to do so, and to them go all the spoils. Your goal is to stay alive until this thing finishes fucking out, and everybody out there hanging on to their PFPs and their crypto assets trying to survive it, just blow the fuck out. Interesting sentiment things we came across yesterday, actually. You guys saw it. I put some things in the chat that I thought were pretty mind-blowing. Looking through communities and stuff like that, as we bounce here, yeah, a lot of people miss the downside. We know that. But we want to keep things in proper focus, as you kind of figure out how big the damage is and like how far this could get. At the end of the day, the sentiment's still like this in many chat rooms. Sorry. That's not what I meant to say. This was an amazing chat room I was in. It was like, holy cow. Years worth of gains gone. Haven't sold, just saying. Sentiment things. Yeah, it hurts. But at this point, I'm willing to lose it all and hope for the best later. Dude, what does that even mean? Like, I'm willing to have a heart attack now and, work on my physical fitness next year. Motherfucker, what? Anyway, you got to read this stuff. It's pretty funny. I know it'll probably come roaring back, but for now it's brutal. It's bad. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I've lost $7,000. Sounds kind of devastating on my 401k. However, this is the perfect time to buy. Really? Try being down over 100 G's. Down over 100 in 2 years. So these guys are measuring dicks of who's gotten wrecked the worst. But they're all still in. Just turned 27. It's a great start, right? Think about this. You get hit like this is crazy. So I've had a little time for mistakes. Sucks though, because I was investing all of my pilot training money. So people at this part of their life, right? You remember we talked about history in the making and your life on a graph? So every generation runs into a version of this shit. When I graduated school, I walked out at 22 into 9/11. And 9/11, it was a generationally damaging fucking cycle that if you walked out of college looking for like job placement, I had a job figured out. But for the average person, the job market literally died on you when you came out. You walked into fucking like just a devastating fucking situation, and it took so many years to recover from it. You walk into the banking crisis and you're graduating school and you walk into that, you can just literally have your whole life fucking derailed. You think about it now, 27, he's been in the workforce maybe 3-4 years, and he's amassed enough money to kind of invest it, then had it fucking taken. That could be the money to start his starter family house, all kinds of shit. This completely will derail you. Now, trying to hang on so you don't lose what, you don't book the loss, so I might get that starter home, that's the fucking hodl, that's the fear, that's the emotional decision, that's a mistake. What you really see is that everyone's still trying to hold their ETH assets, still trying to hold their PFP, still trying to hold on. And, from what history has done to us psychologically, if you didn't buy the dip of the internet bubble, you didn't buy the dip of the housing bubble, you fucking missed out on generational wealth. That's not lost in a bull market coming out of the trend from 2009 and breaking highs off COVID. Like, you look back at prices, and with inflation and, you can't afford shit. The thought of like missing out on anything else that could help save my purchasing power is terrifying. So you're looking at the psychology of like a generational fucking situation here, right? In this picture, what's really stunning, look, it's really crazy, right? Look real close. That's a guy who's probably about 40. That's a retiree. And that's a young person. This market's got fucking a guy out of college, starter home age, a retiree, and a person my age all caught in the same side of the trade. This is an amazing shot when you really look at the information in it. Holy shit. And grandpa is down the same amount as a working class new graduate. You see what I'm saying? This trade's still fucking tilted. As crazy as that squeeze is, everyone's still fucking in. Right? You have every fucking idiot with doodles and every other fucking retard fucking like and PFP up for every fucking project, right? No one's out. And the Fed's main mission is to get us the fuck out. So you have to fucking get a job. Everyone's still long risk assets hoping for the million. And be honest, what the fuck is that old couple still doing in the market at that point of life exposed to those risk assets? You should have more than fucking changed your risk protocols by that point of life to something like an annuity or something stabilized. You can't afford drawdown in the stock market when you're north of fucking 65. That person should be anywhere near the same kind of trade as the fucking 27-year-old. That's insane. Like, my mother's pushing 80. She's not involved in that anymore. She needs stabilized income, in the twilight of years. Those people shouldn't be in the fucking market exposed to a $100,000 drawdown with a 27-year-old kid. The fuck are you doing? So, that's just scary shit. Like, looking at the sentiment things there. Let's see. That guy said that. Let's see. There was some other good ones. When will the bleeding stop? Unless whatever you bought was delisted or you are desperately in need of cash, I wouldn't consider it a loss. Dear God, that's the fucking worst mindset ever. If you have extra spending, now's the time to be buying. So if you haven't had a delisted asset and you have any money left, fire that in there too. Fuck it. Right? You only get hurt when you jump off the roller coaster. Really? Well, you know when else you get hurt? When the fucking roller coaster jumps off the fucking track with you strapped in it, you stupid motherfucker. That's not the only time you get hurt jumping on a roller coaster. Besides, how many motherfuckers can jump on a roller coaster? I never seen that shit open up while I'm going. That's fucking ridiculous. Right? These people's logic is amazing, but you realize they're all saying the same shit. They're all backing each other up. This one's great. Aren't we all in investing strategy for just such a situation? Aren't we buy and hold investors? Well, this is the whole part. Okay. All I know is this all scares me half to fucking death, that no one will tell the other one that you're retarded, right? This guy's saying more selling could come in a couple months. This one, he seems, if I see some good cheap prices, I buy a little extra. So, yeah, it's very tilted in there. And I thought that was worth looking at because, like, everyone's pretty much on the same side. And the Fed is telling you, I'm trying to fucking kill you retail. So people aren't getting the message. That's that. So it's 8:59. I think that's our sentiment read, but like that shit scares you every one, right? In sequence, it's like, okay, I'm down as much as you. Wow, awesome. We're fucking right there with you, buddy. Hodl. Like, oh dear God. Seeing this in many cycles, it never works out well for people like that. Everyone can't have the same idea, be in that level of fucking desperation, and no one willing to say, I might have fucked up. That's the easiest answer. It's like, boy, I got that wrong. Yeah, I've had some fucking crazy losses. At the end of the day, like, God, I fucked that up. You have to be willing to say that. You're never getting the fuck out of there, So it's not. All right, so sweet Jesus, right? Let's see. Do you guys give me any war stories, motherfuckers? You guys been killing it. I know I've been putting out the big poster board, so you don't have to fucking write war stories anymore. But remember, it helps the whole community to kind of see, timestamps of lots of things they try, and it helps you look back in time at where you were, in these various cycles. So make sure not to like fall asleep on doing it just because I'm doing the big collages of everybody now. Still want you to kind of keep the habit of journaling your experience to get to those big wins, So I see no fucking war stories, so it's all good. I know how it's going because I got the closets up. Earnings, let's see if anything's coming around we give a shit about. In the earnings front, Albertson just got acquired by Kroger. Goldman Sachs. Okay, you guys remember I told you about fucking that whole Sonar Dark shit? Wait till you see Goldman Sachs fucking earnings. So if you've ever been paying attention, right, no one can forecast Goldman Sachs earnings. They miss by fucking dollars a share for as long as I've been alive. Goldman is the unpredictable one, and they always blow to the upside. So remember I showed you there's 4 banks that continually do this, right? And you never really pay attention to it. But they always beat estimates on their trading desk because no one can forecast the amount of money they're extracting out of our asses. And that's the real weapon of Wall Street. No one thinks twice about it because no one thinks this shit's predictable. These guys, they always do this. They always beat on the trading desk. So pay attention to Goldman. Watch. They'll fucking smoke earnings by something fucking completely ridiculous. And, nobody will have a clue it was going to happen. So that was one we care about. Where did I just lost my screen? Some semiconductor guys, that'll probably be a lead that you care about. Tesla, we care about. Lam Research, and anybody saying anything about semis, we care about. I think that's all I see there that I give a shit about. So with these guys starting to pop up, there'll probably be some bigger names next week. If you're starting to see some semi guys, Netflix, Goldman, and like Lam Research, these guys will be worth paying attention to. Maybe IBM, to a lesser degree. All right. Izzy, appreciate those as always. Forex Factory. So red events, you guys already know now. These things are market moving shits. You have to pay attention to them. Today for Monday, the only one we care about for U.S. is already passed at 8:30, which is the Empire State Manufacturing Index. Looks like it was pretty positive because we're pumping pre-market. GDP from China, you probably want to see what they say. Right now they're the only other big news on the planet with supply chain issues that you really give a fuck about with us. And then Wednesday, we've got a pretty good list of like red numbers to be paid attention to, especially if you're in the currency markets. Those will probably be market moving events. This dude, Bullard, is the only other person you care about when he speaks from the Fed, and his whole job is to smash retail. So almost nothing this man says is ever positive to the market and is designed to basically kind of suppress the market. So be watching to see what he says, and he's pretty much just this threatening guy, but ultimately Powell's the main decider we give a shit about. Thursday morning, Philly Fed, you'll care about that too. That'll be a market moving event. All right. Got to the macro section already. Guys, keep up with all that? Everybody got all that? Oops, wrong one. So I promised you guys, where did I put it? Always consistent. So promise you guys a Space Cash blog will be ready by Sunday. Holy crap, has that thing gotten so big. So we're going to do a video vlog read of this thing because y'all motherfuckers are never going to read through this entire massive shit. But if you ever wonder what all my calls are connected from, they kind of all are one call unfolding across time. So decided to finally put this thing together. I actually started this blog in November 2019. And we're just getting to the place where we can actually finish this thing right now. So let's see. I'm going to show you guys the beginnings of what we got. So this is it. I've been working on them here. It's footprint of bias things are injected in there. A couple ancient astronaut facts, some good stuff about Russia, and this is the OG post that's a post. The movement off Earth and or spacefaring race. So been working on him all of the weekend there, and he's pretty big, but he's not nearly done. But this one's a doozy. Let me tell you, we're gonna go through and read some shit. You won't believe this nonsense. So pretty wild stuff, right? Still going. So, all right, we're at 9:04. Time to get you guys ready for another market day. Let's go ahead and go over this macro and get you guys out the door. So 146 here, about normal for what we do at this point. Let's see. All right, so VIX things, got our squeeze. We got to talk about sentiments there, like up close. We got a squeeze that obviously caught a lot of people on the wrong side. We are looking at or VIX trajectory right now, the squeeze is this. This pullback on the bull flag is a squeeze. We told you to pay attention to Meta, right? Meta was literally at the PPT low of Christmas. So we said, you know, price has memory. We literally got a bounce on PPT's intervention low. Serious low worth paying attention to. We told you Nvidia and a couple of these guys were inside some crazy ranges that you wanted to pay attention to. The chance of them vacating in a single shot, not usually likely. And this is their bounce, but by no means like, you know, this must be the bottom kind of bounce. As big as and vicious it was, right? People really aren't out of this thing, like I said. And when you look at stuff like this, like, you know, I proxy basically, coin is a proxy for, you know, the whole crypto market, which has been highly stable. While most of the risk assets, you know, in stocks have been getting blasted off a cliff, crypto stayed relatively stable. But if we get another down leg, this stability will turn into a very large consolidation that can have a lot of gas on it. So we want to pay attention to it because a lot of things don't look just, you know, very healthy yet. Coin doesn't look healthy. Coin is a holding that, you know, or a retard of the cycle. Kathy Big Penis was holding onto. She let go of, and she's actually weaker. So you can actually see the advancement of this same structure she had. She really correlated with coin. Coin is like a smarter play to have held at the moment. She got out of it, but she's kind of reflecting like risk assets as a whole. They're not nearly done. This massive short squeeze really amounts to a 2B on the low here for her, and like a range, you know, within the range of this volume we told you was a place to pay attention also. But by no stretch is this pump turn into something that says, wow, this is totally reversed, right? If this is not done coming down, then it's got another depression low to put in. So let's look at something on the graph here of ARC that I did. So like when you look at ARC, right, and you look at the structure of the emotion chart, anger right here, right, blowing out the capitulation low. Anger is basically what we posted, right? This is anger at its first inception, blowing out the capitulation low, and you should have basically a bear flag or dead cat bounce and a rotation down to make depression. This bear flag is our summer bear flag, the low resolution bear flag, a bull trend we played, or our macro bear flag is this, right? We post this is May. This entire thing is the bear flag to rotate down. So that goes through capitulation, you have anger, and you have the entire bear flag dead cat of that, and then you go to depression. So the timing at which CT popped up and did it is actually coming back here. They posted basically the break of this and a throwback wick, a 2B of the anger low break, is what that fifth biggest short squeeze really was. So it is anger. They're just late on the idea of anger. And likely it's the wave still, if this like last wave trajectory holds, this is the wave to take you into depression and actually brick people the fuck out. And it can take a second to actually do it, you know, maybe the whole quarter. So I thought that was worthy perspective to look at, right? So if we just kind of turn this off, we posted anger here, they posted late anger here, and caught a fucking snapback in everyone's fucking faces. Right, the guy posted on the 10th and then caught this reversal in everyone's faces. But really, when you look at it in context, right, if this is the anger actually low here and that's capitulation, then this is the wave, this trend structure right now that we're entering in. This is the wave itself that actually bottoms the marketplace, and probably into like, you know, the tail end of 2022 here. So I thought this is worth paying attention to. Like, you know, by no means does the market seem like fucking like safe just because. So we want to keep that macro in focus. This guy put in a shit ton of volume, but ultimately this guy is making a bear flag and he hasn't really gone anywhere. You know, so if this is his anger low, he has yet to finish his depression. And if he has yet to finish his depression, that means all the crypto still has yet to hit depression. And depression is that place that motherfuckers don't want to tell you they owned XYZ. They had a fucking like shitcoin tatted on their neck. They're gonna wear a fucking like turtleneck, you know? They had a fucking PFP of fucking some retarded dog. They're gonna fucking put up fucking some retarded picture of their fucking selves. So this is a kind of what you see. Depression, nobody is going to kumbaya anybody anymore. We're all gonna cry together about the horrible decisions we made. And we're not really at that point while we're trying to figure out how to fucking hodl a $100,000 loss and survive, you know? So that's kind of a sentiment thing that we're looking at within the structure of this low resolution uptrend or macro bear flag. All right, so SPY things down here at this res. So right now on the lows of summer, you have a 2B. If this is the anger low, and this is the rotation on anger to come head for the depression wave, we are paying attention for this thing to have not much movement off the 2B and possibly fizzle. But for right now, while he's come back across the low, right, you let him leave that as a line in the sand. He comes back through the base. We pay attention to that, when that shows itself. For right now, we're gapping up, and we'll see how far the squeeze actually can go. Maybe just to suck in the people who felt like they were about to fucking die and fucking get a breath of life and then turn right over in your fucking face. But we're going to pay close attention to this. With this guy coming down here, we want to draw that trajectory from the last major low, but we also want to keep fucking eyes on the overall trend structure of coming from the dead top, right? The trajectory of the down wave from the dead top is really this. And this is just one leg of down within the overall macro trajectory. This was the same thing. So if we can rotate this, we really only have a chance to rotate to this angle, and we still need proof that this entire macro down wave from November is actually fucking stopping at all. And for right now, there's no real signs that that's really the case. And the way the crowd is acting, it doesn't really look like the fundamentals are there for you to pump the market and have the whole crowd outside of the trade to come back as late buyers, right? That dynamic's not there. If they're still in, they can't buy anything else, they're still in. So bull markets don't happen when everyone's holding fucking the same position, right? All right, so that's him. VIX things. Right now we talked about him. That's the low fizzle we have, but the overall trend structure, we're still paying attention. This could fade as far as it needs to again fucking reassert itself into the overall trend that we have coming out of summer. The DXY is generally matching this thing. He's taking a bit of a breather, so we pay attention to this thing a little slightly bigger, as not zoomed into 1 minute and shit, and it needs a second to figure out if it's going to structure out here or is it going to turn into a complacency shoulder and correct bigger and allow the squeeze to get even bigger. If that's the case, USD, we have him on another chart. Right, we're watching him in this bear flag situation, and this is the projection we have for him here. This is the flag back on DXY, the breather in VIX. If this is going to continue, it's just going to be a small flag outside here, and then he's going to, reassert himself back to the downside. So we're paying attention to this right now. If he goes up here, that whole plays off. But for right now, right, things as big as the short squeeze is, none of this is really in place. Like, wow, it's just fully reversed the market. Not at all. Ultimately, they look like they're trying to save the fucking pound, and if the bid stays under the pound, like you see here, where they keep trying to fucking keep him alive, there's likely a tailwind to risk assets while they're trying to fucking stop the implosion of this currency. So this is where the real bid support's coming from. It's pretty much just intervention keeping this motherfucker alive. That being said, UK assets are pretty strong. You should be having your eyes on those also, not just US ones, because that's where the real bid's coming from into the market right now, I think, is support for, the Queen's money. Oh, we want to acknowledge the King because he's a fucking pussy. All right, so let's see. So that's DXY, indexes, VIX. Crypto things are pretty stable again, like we said. We're still looking at the range that we have in here. Until you have a clean structure on one side, the other's range, this is just a wick through. Until you have a sustained structure, flag outside the range of this Darth Maul expanded range bullshit, it's really not worth fucking being involved in it, right? So you're looking for something to actually sustain clean outside of this. It's just a chop shop, and if you listen to what we told you from we saw this and we outlined this, you should have stayed safe, for all the last fucking month that crypto's really done technically nothing. So BTC's been in the same place, right? We need sustained structures. He did bar down out of this, but ultimately we're still sitting in here. So we'll see how big the squeeze gets, and if I think ETH gives away whether or not crypto leaves to the upside. He's kind of got the cleaner regions, but if you look at this, it's kind of a shit show over here. I'd say you're looking at fucking at least this area, this area, this area, under here, like that, somewhere above that, like 20,600 thereabouts would probably be where BTC would give you signs that he's got some upside potential out of this also, and he could honor this projection. But for right now, everything's kind of a precarious spot with VIX still sitting well over 30, and it feels rather comfortable to be at VIX 30, which is also fucking scary as fuck. So I think that's about it for our macro, right? That's BTC, crypto, FX, all of our goodies. You guys get all that? I know it was a lot. It's in living color, bitches. It comes at you like that. That projection, though. So let's see. It's a lot. Yeah, Space Cash, that's a lot. So let's see what you guys got here. MBG, what do I got? What do you got? That was the wrong button. Mercedes-Benz. Is that what that is? Cars haven't looked good in general, so you can kind of look at these guys all as a group, right? Honda, Toyota, Ford, MBG, not going to be any different, right? Cars as a group are pretty correlated. So you want to see discretionary spending assets come back, and that's not really a thing in a de-risking cycle. Like everything that requires like us to have excess money to buy is getting fucking rocked when you're de-risking the system and basically reducing our liquidity. So while that's happening, this might not be the safest thing to be in, but if you're looking at the whole overall market risk asset wise, you'd be tracking him much the same way. He at least held the summer lows. And you could kind of look at this fact, if he holds this and manages to rotate out, something like that, that's possible. Barring he doesn't go through his summer lows. He gets under here, he's going the rest of the same place the rest of his assets are if we're due for another leg down. And I think we are, another leg down is very possible in time with what the Fed is doing and how long their cycle looks like it's going to take to finish. ELV, whatever this is, Elevance Health, we already talked about this, I guess, some point ago, and this is the bull flag we were in from last time we drew it, and it's still the same flag you're looking for him to attempt to rotate out of. So same thing as last time we saw it. Nucor, NEU, this is like long-term play, and whether like inflation really will run away. If Putin gets what he wants, this guy's not done. Inflation and metals and prices of raw goods and stuff is going to keep on accelerating as we lose purchasing power. So Nucor is going to break out from what we showed you here. Structurally, this is kind of ugly. You track him with like steel and stuff, and you kind of look at these guys are kind of be together. This is your weaker of the two. This is almost never like what you want to see, like this kind of like grind like that. You kind of want to see this kind of correct out of that, create like a flag like that, and then come out of this like that. That would be kind of like a better structure. This is kind of like ugly when he grinds like that. It kind of sucks you and sets you up for that. I think with this high spike in there, if he creates a structure like this, this will be a better looking play to go after. And he holds a trigger and rotates off of that. That'd be pretty good. That's good enough. We'll leave him like that. It's 9:17. Trying to manage our time here. Tesla, CCJ. Tesla, CCJ, Tesla. Okay, so Tesla, we drew in for you this over. Okay, hang on, stop moving. All right, Tesla, we drew in this giant channel. So when we track the angle of attack of the major pullback, right, this is the downward trajectory of that wave, and we have waves that are up in it that we play like the summer rally we played into, and we had this, right, we drew into a bull flag here. This looked really obvious, he either gets a bull flag this, or he rotates down out of it, pretty good wave, and he basically tracks back and makes a bigger bull flag. So this is now the only thing to really support the macro trend structure of Tesla since inception. If he holds this, it's still technically, an uptrend, as long as he holds before he gets down here. So this is our questionable low. So how far does it go? This guy's likely going to bottom with the risk asset cycle, and he looks like he's not really in a healthy position to really do it just yet, right? This doesn't look like a recovery with a fifth biggest short squeeze that equals bottom of the market. Bottoms of the markets we know take time, right? They end up like what we saw when we were playing fucking ETH in the summer. They're going to look something like have a time duration that really knocks people out also, right? So if we look at like ETH in the summer, what do bottom formations look like? They're not usually V bottoms. Jesus. Right? They're like this. Oh, damn it. It's in pieces. Hold on. Maybe I have it on BTC. I drew it on one of these bitches. Not this chart. Almost a perfect transition. This guy, right? Bottoms look like that. Initial low, something to throw people off, time corrects, lose fucking attention, and then markup, right? Something like that. So right now, this one recoil doesn't make a low in the marketplace. So cautiously optimistic for more of a bounce in this, but like at the end of the day, we know what bottoms look like, right? CCJ, BTC SPY. I think I'm at 920. I'm gonna kill it right here. So CCJ is gonna fit with a graph we have on nuclear energy. And so CCJ right here, we talked about him pulling back. We like to see him above this spot. He failed to break out and sustain. He's coming back to his long-term angle. That guy kind of goes with Eura. And we're paying attention to Eura and CCJ as two plays on fucking uranium. And I think, you know, they're both kind of worth keeping track of at the same time. See if he manages to hold this angle. You're looking at a major bull flag rotation on really high resolutions with this guy. So, you know, we'll see how far this really gets. BTC SPY, BTC USD. See if they have a BTC SPY. So BTC SPY, I wouldn't think, you know, the fact is like the beta of Bitcoin is so fucking high. You don't really gain too much insights from this over, you know, Bitcoin itself. He's got so much alpha in either direction. He's kind of going to look like Bitcoin USD if you do this or not, you know. So I don't think you gain anything more massive than looking at Bitcoin here stalled out against the top of an old system, and whether Bitcoin can actually hold this structure to actually create a more meaningful bottom and a rotation on the down angle from, like, you know, November. That's what we're pretty much watching if you zoom out into it. So, you know, this will look the same in any Bitcoin over any stock with the amplitude Bitcoin does, you know, versus most stocks. So this thing rotates this angle here, which he's trying to show signs of. This is what you care about most as far as this being a bull flag to test the previous system. And Bitcoin, you know, USD over SPY really doesn't show you much else than that. He's just deeper in the same system. So if you get a rotation of Bitcoin dollar, you're likely going to have it in fucking Bitcoin SPY. But for right now, your line in the sand is if Bitcoin can keep going through this, right, this is still a bear flag. And we want to see if Bitcoin can hold this to rotate. And if the market has a bigger bounce penciling for it, then it will hold this and likely do something like that. But this is a very precarious spot when you think about the swing breakdown we've got here. Anything here can really just become a much more massive bear flag and come back off that level and do something crazier if that leg we're talking about coin does, you know, materialize. This is not really structurally the best place to be like, oh wow, he's going to totally rotate. You would want to track that at least here and see if he can do it. So this is your first early signs of it being possible and from the depths of hell. All right, and then CCHZUSDT. I feel like I've done this thing before. CCHZUSDT. Yeah, I've done this before. All right, so it's never really made its rotation, and he's this crypto things right now, right? So something to keep eyes on. He's been a little stronger in the summer rally than things like ETH USDT, right? That guy, if I look at that, he's slightly stronger, but he's going to then represent the same bear flag we're keeping track of that comes from the summer lows. So we want to see that this doesn't like turn into a more meaningful, like, you know, version of what we're saying is possible if the VIX continues to fucking push out. So I think right now, you know, looking at him, I like this still as his trigger. And if we look at like his highs, this is a high, low. This is a high that puts in a new low, right? And along this high, we have like subordinate low resolution highs on the way down. So this is possible to generate a wave to make another low until he proves us wrong, right? You know, we won't bet against the prevailing trend from the highs down. All right, motherfuckers, that's it. It's 9:20 something, exactly where we don't want to be. 9:23. Get ready, bitches. Let's make some money today. Catch you on the flip. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome